And good evening, everybody, and welcome here to the Richmond International Raceways. We're getting set for the next to last race in the regular season for the PCSRA Camping World Truck Series. After this, we only have Las Vegas next week before we know our 12 drivers that will battle out for this season's chase for the championship. Carlos Rodriguez starts on the pole position for tonight's race, I should say, 35th in the points. Unless he gets a good run today, I don't think Carlos Rodriguez will make the playoffs. Alongside is Prudence Martindale, the teammate to Carlos Rodriguez. Prudence Martindale, on the other hand, will make the playoffs. She moved all the way up to 5th in the point standings after her win last week at Kansas. Michael Brown, run number 2. Michael comes into this race 24th in the points, still has a chance to make the playoffs. And Connor Breton, alongside Breton, is 19th in the point standings. So you look at the starting grid right there, as well as your point standings right over there. Chris Maley is the points leader by 75 points over Kyler Anderson. Quentin Moore, 100 points back, 3rd in the standings. Prudence Martindale, our outside pole sitter, is 4th in the, Alexander Underwood, 142 back. Prudence Martindale is 5th, 1. Brian James is 6th, Boris Sokolov 7th, Jeff Scott 8th, Lucian Bianchi 9th, and Tatiana Nagora complete the top 10. Gonna throw a little disclaimer. If you hear my roommate making inappropriate remarks about a female, I do apologize for that. Just want to give you guys a heads up. But here we go. Richmond, the next to last race of the regular season, will be green. The Young's Motorsports teammates will lead us to green. Carlos Rodriguez caught everybody sleeping as he got a great start as he enters turn number 3. Carlos Rodriguez leads lap number 1. That's 5 points for him leading a lap. Carlos Rodriguez trying to make a last-ditch attempt to make the playoffs. Josh Harmon in 2nd. Josh fell all the way down to 32nd in points after a poor result last week at Kansas. Last week's winner, Prudence Martindale, back to 3rd. Carlos Rodriguez wins today. He would be could possibly make a last-ditch attempt to make the playoffs. Is only a total of, let me see here, 9, 17, 23 points back of 30th in the standings. Josh Harmon in 2nd, Prudence Martindale 3rd. Sean Art in 4th. Sean's one of those drivers trying to get a win to get into the playoffs, but last week had a dismal run. Finished all the way, fell 5 spots to 28th position in the points. Only one ThorSport truck has been to victory lane.
Yes, he is.
Check the back of the field. Bradley Ream back here at the rear of the field, 21st in points. There's Ashton Lewis Jr. This is not where Ashton Lewis Jr. needs. Back here in the 40th position. He came in this race 9 points back of 30th in the standings. Angel Gutierrez, this is not where he needs to be. He needs to move forward because he came in this race 29th in the points, 12 points ahead of 30th in the standings. This is not where he wants to be. Matthews right there. There's our points leader. That is the Chris Maley machine. See where the 75 is running in 19, came as race second in points. So a number of drivers back there at the rear of the field. This is not where they wanted to be. So this is what the playoff standings will look like heading into, coming into the night's race. Chris Maley, Zachary Fitzwater will be tied for the number 1 seed. So that is 1 and 2 there, but Chris Maley would own the tiebreaker because of the fact he is the regular season points leader. Kyler Anderson would be 3rd, Alexander Underwood 4th, Prudence Martindale would be 5th, Jeff Scott 6th, Skylar Taylor is 7th, and Angel Gutierrez is 8th. And as I mentioned, Ashton Lewis came in this race 9 points back of 30th in the standings, which means Ashton Lewis Jr. needs a good run today to get himself in the top 30 in the points to have his win count for a playoff spot. And if Carlos Rodriguez gets a win, this could make things interesting. Because right now, the 4 drivers that get in on points, Quentin Moore, Brian James, Boris Sokolov, and Lucian Bianchi. Do apologize about the phone ringing in the background. Checking back here at the rear of the field. Angel Gutierrez needs to start going forward. Oh, contact between Brian James and that was Arena McShane. That would have been pretty bad. Thankfully, they keep it together. Tatiana is the driver who's trying to run down Bianchi. Nathan Orman, I think Nathan Orman's pretty much going to be out of contention for this. Alexander Underwood was running well in points. And there's Kyler Anderson, giving us race 2nd in points. Cody Smart's going to be in a must-win situation next week. Same with Dylan Matthews, Priya McShane. As Priya goes underneath Dylan, move herself up to 23rd as I hit the wrong button. And there's the points leader, Chris Maley. Depends where Quentin Moore, there's Quentin Moore. Quentin's not making up any points on Chris Maley as the 19 just drove it underneath the 46. So Sokolov moving up. There's Porov. Or Savastava. No, it's Shrivastava. There we go. Shrivastava. I got the pronunciation better. There's Fitzy. Fitzy fell down to 11th in points, but he's in the playoffs no matter what happens tonight and next week. And Josh Harmon just took the lead from Carlos Rodriguez. Josh Harmon trying to, I'm just going to try to ignore what's going on in the living room so I can just concentrate on this race. Yeah, if you're hearing Steven just trying to be yelly, I do apologize. Coming up to the halfway point of this race here tonight. Josh Harmon trying to become the 2nd member of Skylar Taylor's drivers to go to victory lane this season. Carlos Rodriguez, hello pace truck, you made me mess up, thank you.
I'm not going to excuse you, though, because there's no excuse for it.
Yeah, those puns are getting out of control. But anyway, Carlos Rodriguez back to the lead he goes. We're halfway home. 20 laps complete, 20 laps to go. Drivers need to start moving themselves up through the points table. Jeff Scott, former winner this season. Connor Breton, a win for him would get himself into the playoffs. Prudence Martindale. Prudence is now 158 points back of Chris Maley. She's actually ahead of Chris Maley.
I said, okay, I'll be your friend, but I won't be your boyfriend. Because I'll wish you in the peace.
Josh Harmon trying to get the lead back. He will do so. It's been Josh Harmon and Carlos Rodriguez switching the lead back and forth, allowing Jeff Scott to catch right up in that 33. Jeff Scott, former winner this season, so both of the Rayum Brothers Motorsports trucks have been to victory lane this season. I don't know why Steven needs to be loud.
I'll probably even drink myself to the grave like my dad did.
There's Maxie Chilton. Looks like Maxie will be heading into Vegas in a must-win situation. Brian James came in this race 6th in points. You know, this is going to really shake up the playoff grid. I can tell you, Kyler Anderson's 2nd in points. You know, the good news for him, this is not going to hurt him points-wise. It is going to, however, hurt him as far as that's concerned. F Ward, Bianchi and Nathan Orman. Ashton Lewis looks like, I don't think Ashton Lewis is going to get a good run. Tatiana Guerra's not doing her playoff hopes any favors. Evan Murray, Angel Gutierrez. This poor result will probably put him outside the top 30 in the point standings, which unfortunately would mean his win would not count for a playoff berth. And that was going to be good news for Tatiana Guerra, but she's at the rear of the field, so this is not doing her any good. The driver who was trying to catch Bianchi other than Guerra was Matthew Hubert. I don't know where Hubert is. Looks like Carlos Rodriguez is going the wrong way. He just lost 3rd to his teammate, Prudence Martindale. We're down to 10 laps to go. 28th is where Hubert's running. Josh Harmon still leads. Josh wants to get back, wants to not only get in the top 30 in the points, but also join his team owner rather, Skylar Taylor, into the playoffs. Would be nice if Skylar Taylor has one of her drivers in the playoffs, which is Josh Harmon. Jeff Scott there. There's Prudence Martindale. Prudence Martindale is going to gain some points on Chris Maley. Because right now Chris Maley's 21st. He was your points leader. Kyler Anderson's 40th, 2nd in points. And then the 46th of Quentin Morris, 20th, came in this race 3rd in points. So 25th for Alexander Underwood, came in this race 4th in points. So this is going to really be a point shakeup, and we're going to have an interesting scenario heading into next week's race. I apologize for the language you're hearing in the background with my roommates. Down to 6 laps of racing to go. Jeff Scott trying to get his 2nd win of the year to joined the likes of Chris Maley and Zachary Fitzwater as a two-time winner. Fitzwater, F word for Steven. I was trying to say two-time winners this season. That would mean we would end up having 3 drivers with 2 wins this season. That was what I was trying to say. Josh Harmon in the 84 Backyard Blues Toyota. As I said, trying to get a win to get himself not only into the playoffs, but needs to make sure he stays in the top 30 in the points for his win, if he wins tonight, to count for a playoff berth. And he would be the second of Skylar Taylor's drivers who've gone to victory lane. The only one who has not been to victory lane other than Josh Harmon, that's part of Skylar Taylor's team, is Avon Murray. But we already know Avon Murray's not in the championship hunt, sadly. Two to go here for Josh Harmon. This is really going to shake up the playoff grid. With 2 races to go, or should I say with 1 race to go. That would be Vegas. White flag, 1 more lap for Josh Harmon. We talked about Skylar Taylor, who got her first career win earlier on this season. Well, Josh Harmon will make it 2 in a row. Second win for Skylar Taylor's drivers. First for Josh Harmon, who wins at Richmond. And now the question is, has Josh Harmon joined his team owner, Skylar Taylor, into the top 30 in points for this win to count for a playoff berth in the chase for the championship? This is going to be good momentum for Josh Harmon if this win does count for a playoff berth. Standings are official. Josh Harmon, the winner. Prudence Martindale, one week after her first career win, will get second. And she'll definitely gain a lot of points on Chris Maley. I can tell you that for certain. Jeff Scott, third. Carlos Rodriguez, fourth. Nikita Kuznetsov, fifth. Mitchell Hodak, sixth. Connor Breton, seventh. Zachary Fitzwater, nice bounce-back run in eighth. He'll be back in the top 10 in the points. Michael Brown, ninth. And Abek Sokolov complete top 10. Porav Shrivastava came home 11th. Austin Shaw, 12th. The Art brother and sister siblings, Sean led that brigade home in 13th over his sister Jessie in 14th, and Boris Sokolov came home in 15th. Rest of the top 20 was Cement Oskin, Grace Takayama, Quentin Moore, Chris Maley, and John T. Richardson, the top 20. No cautions in this race. As you look on down to the remainder of the finishing results, I can tell you the points are going to be mighty shaken up with 1 race to go. Ashton Lewis, 34th. Ooh, Ashton Lewis is going to be in a must-win situation heading into next week. Tatiana Ground, Lucian Bianchi came in running well in points. This is going to be big blows to them, in particular Noguera, who was trying to get into the playoffs, came this race 12 points below the cut line. Nathan Orman, I think his championship hopes are done as far as himself is concerned. Same with Maxie Chilton. They're no doubt going to go into next week's race at Las Vegas in must-win situations. Angel Gutierrez, 29th. Ooh, that's going to be tough for him because John T. Richardson finished ahead of him. The good news for Gutierrez, Orme didn't finish ahead of him, but Josh Harmon did. So this might knock Angel Gutierrez out of the top 30 in points, and he's going to have 1 shot to get a good run at Las Vegas to keep his playoff hopes alive. But that is going to do it from Las Vegas. Good job, Wills. Let's start that over in English. That's going to do it from Richmond. Las Vegas is next week. Easy for me to say. I'm getting old, okay. But thank you all for joining me for tonight's race at Richmond. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the PCSRA crew today. We showed your full finish results. You'll see your point standings heading into Las Vegas next week. This is it. One more race until we find out who the 12 drivers will bow for this season's chase for the championship. But until then, I've been Dean signing off as you've been watching another broadcast of PCSRA TV celebrating 13 years of existence, the best in our racing since 2017. Good night from Richmond. We'll see you next week at Las Vegas.